40% of Americans earning over $300,000 a year say they live paycheck to paycheck. Let that sink in. Goldman Sachs published that number, and I had to read it 3 times to make sure it wasn't a typo. People pulling in triple what the median American family earns are looking a bank dead in the eye and saying that they are one broken water heater away from a total financial crisis. If you have ever stood by the office coffee machine looking at your coworkers' brand new Rolex, their pristine BMW SUV in the parking lot, or their Instagram photos from Cabo and wondered, how on earth does the math work on their salary? I have the answer for you. It doesn't. The math has never worked. Today, we are reverse engineering how the average American worker actually pays for the lifestyle they are showing off. Because once you see behind the curtain, your entire office and your entire social circle is going to start looking very, very different. This isn't just a video about budgeting. This is a story about a massive collective illusion. And spoiler alert, the bill is finally coming due. Hit that subscribe button and let's unpack this, because looking wealthy and being wealthy are 2 completely different things. In fact, they're usually opposites. Let's talk about your coworker. We'll call him Greg. Greg just remodeled his kitchen and leased a new German luxury SUV. When Greg brags about his weekend trips, your first reaction is probably to wonder what you're doing wrong. Here is the first secret to Greg's life: lifestyle creep. Every time Greg gets a raise, a bonus, or a promotion, he spends it. Luxuries immediately become necessities, so the math on his $150,000 or $300,000 salary looks exactly as tight and stressful as the math on a $60,000 salary. But how does he logistically keep this illusion going month after month? Grab a snack, because this is where it gets dark. The short answer is debt. The long answer is creative debt. Let's look at the scaffolding holding Greg's life up, layer by layer. Layer 1, credit cards. Americans are sitting on over $1 trillion in credit card debt. The average APR is hovering around 21%, and nearly half of all cardholders carry a balance month to month. There's a chunk of the population that has just accepted they will pay 21% interest forever. It's a permanent tax on looking cool. Layer 2, buy now, pay later, BNPL. This is the stealth weapon of modern fake wealth. Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, these don't show up on credit reports the same way credit cards do, so nobody knows their coworker is using them. A huge percentage of BNPL users earning over $100,000 a year are using these apps just to bridge the gap to their next paycheck. When you see those amazing music festival photos on Instagram in July, yeah, a lot of those people are still paying off their general admission tickets in November. They are literally running a miniature portfolio of lifestyle debt.
Layer 3, the auto loan. This is the ultimate status symbol. The average new car payment in America is creeping up to $800, $900, sometimes over $1,000 a month. But here's the real kicker. Almost 30% of trade-ins are underwater. That means the buyer owes more on their old car than it's worth. So they roll that negative equity into a new 84-month loan. They'll be paying off a car for 7 years. And those luxury SUVs you see in the lot? About 70 to 75% of new Mercedes, BMWs, and Audis are leased. Greg doesn't own that BMW. He's just renting it from BMW Financial. It's an endless subscription to the feeling of being rich. All right, here's where it gets really weird, because you can write off everything I just said as self-inflicted bad choices, but this next layer isn't even their money. Did you know that half of parents with adult children, kids over the age of 18, are still sending them money on a regular basis? And we aren't talking about $20 for pizza. The average amount is almost $1,500 a month. That is $18,000 a year per adult child. Even for millennials aged 29 to 44, a massive chunk of them are still getting hundreds of dollars a month from their parents. So when you're comparing yourself to the coworker whose lifestyle makes zero mathematical sense, there is a very real chance the math is being subsidized by someone else. Almost a quarter of first-time homebuyers are using family money for their down payments. We're in the middle of the great wealth transfer. Over $100 trillion is expected to move from boomers to their kids over the next few decades. But it's not distributed evenly. It's landing on a concentrated group of people. So when you stand next to Brenda at the water cooler and do envy math, remember, she might not be outperforming you. She might just have a completely different starter pack. You're running a marathon. She got dropped off at mile 22 in an Uber. Both of you will finish, but only one of you actually ran the whole way. That BMW Greg drives, it might not just be rented from the bank. It might be quietly co-signed by Boomer Wealth that he'll never, ever mention at lunch. Now, if they didn't inherit money and they aren't drowning in credit card debt, there's a third possibility, one they'll definitely never tell you about.
They're working way more than you think. Over 9 million Americans are working multiple jobs simultaneously right now, and half of these multi-job holders have a college degree. It is no longer just a broke college kid survival tactic. It is a fully credentialed, salaried, 35-year-old reality. More than a third of American adults have a side hustle. So when your coworker casually drops $800 on a weekend getaway, that money might not have come from her salary. It came from her Etsy store, her Saturday DoorDash runs, or the freelance graphic design gigs she does until 2 a.m. And then there is the ultimate modern phenomenon, overemployment. Surveys of fully remote workers showed that a shocking number of them has secretly worked 2 or more remote jobs at the exact same time. There are people out there holding 3 or 4 remote jobs, making $500,000 a year, using AI to hit their deadlines and just riding the chaos. So when Greg has his camera off on the 10 a.m. stand-up, he's not just slacking off. Greg might literally be on another Zoom call for his second full-time job. When you do envy math, you might be comparing your single income to his hidden double income. He looks exhausted every morning because he's running a rat race on a treadmill turned up to 11. Let me hit you with one more reframe before I tell you how to actually win this game. The visible things your coworker owns, the luxury watch, the designer handbag, the leased car, those are not wealth. They are, almost by design, the exact opposite of wealth. They are wealth impersonators. Economics has a term for this: inconspicuous consumption. Studies show that the wealthiest consumers actually prefer goods with quiet, subtle branding, no massive logos. Meanwhile, the people who spend the highest percentage of their income on luxury goods buy the loudest, most branded versions. Real money whispers, fake money screams. Picture 2 guys at dinner. One is in a plain, unbranded cashmere sweater, wearing a basic watch, driving a 5-year-old paid-off Lexus. He has $4 million in investments. 3 tables over is a guy with a massive designer belt logo, a flashy financed watch, and a brand new Range Rover parked outside. He has $1,200 in his checking account and a mountain of credit card debt. Both of them are performing, but one is performing wealth, and the other is performing the illusion of wealth. And the math backs this up brutally. Designer bags and luxury watches are plummeting in resale value right now. If you put $10,000 into a designer item 10 years ago, maybe it's worth $15,000 or $19,000 today. If you had put that exact same $10,000 into the S&P 500, it would be worth nearly $40,000. The stock market quietly crushes the shiny objects every single time. But nobody wants to tell you that because nobody is making viral TikToks about their index funds. So where does this leave you? Hopefully in a much better place than when this video started, because here is the truth nobody is going to tell you at the office. You are not behind. You are not doing it wrong.
The people you think are winning are largely performing a very expensive play, and the ticket price is their entire financial future. Those 40% of high earners living paycheck to paycheck, that is the finish line you are sprinting toward if you play their game. It's a gilded cage. Real wealth in America is boring. The largest studies of actual millionaires show that the vast majority received zero inheritance. Most of them never earned six figures in a single working year. Do you know what the top 5 millionaire professions are? Engineer, accountant, teacher, management, and attorney. A teacher made the top 5, not a tech bro, not a crypto day trader. A teacher. Because they invested in their 401ks, they didn't carry credit card debt, and they drove paid-off, reliable cars. If you take that average $800 a month new car payment, and instead of giving it to a bank, you invest it from age 25 to 65 at historical stock market returns, you end up with over $6 million. That is the exact dollar amount difference between the coworker leasing the BMW to look rich and the quiet coworker driving the 2018 Toyota Camry who actually is. One is showing off now. The other is going to own their time later. So the next time Greg walks into the office kitchen with a new watch and a fresh tan from Cabo, do not panic. Do not open your banking app and spiral. Do not try to compete. Just smile, nod, quietly automate your investments, pay down your debt, and drive your car until the wheels fall off. Because in 15 years, when the music stops and the loans come due, the person you envy today is going to be quietly asking you how you did it. That's the ugly truth about how your coworkers afford their lifestyle. Most of them don't. You just can't see the bill yet. If this video changed the way you look at money, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.